What's up guys, this is Chris back again with Tight Lines, and this time I'm doing a little bit of a different video than I usually do. One of the things I said that was going to be on here, so I love to cook, love to eat, and especially as a grad student. I know I'm a little bit older than most grad students, I suppose, but overall I still have to be very conscious with my money. I have to be very careful as far as being able to buy all the ingredients and things like that. So I want to show you guys one of my favorite recipes. This is something that I picked up when I was in the military. I loved it when it was on the ship. So I figured, you know what, I want to figure out how to make it myself. And so I'm going to show you a recipe that I like to make. It's called Chuck Wagon Stew. It's something my kids love. It's something that I love. It's super easy to make. You can make a bunch of it. You can refrigerate it. You can eat it as leftovers. It works really well. We're going to make some today. So this is our first cooking session, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Like I said, it's a little something different, but I think you're going to like it because it really is something super easy and super tasty. Stick with us, we're going to get to it here. Alright, so there's only a few things that we're going to need. So first of all, I need some ground beef. Now, for those that might not know, one tip that I'll give you is buy your ground beef and put it into a Gladlock bag or like a zipper lock bag, and do that and make it flat. So if you flatten it inside the bag and freeze it thin, it's a lot easier to defrost it in the microwave. So I'm going to defrost this. You need a couple of cans of beans. I like the vegetarian Bush's baked beans. I feel like these have really good taste, and the sauce from that works really well, and since we're already putting meat in, I don't need anything else. You can choose whichever kinds of baked beans you like, especially Bush's. I love Bush's for this particular recipe. We're also going to need some green bell peppers. So I got some beautiful green bell peppers here. And then I've also got some onion. Now you can use whatever kind of onion you like. I would say stay away from red onion for this recipe, but you could use like a Vidalia onion, you could use a sweet onion, a yellow onion, white onion, whatever works best for you. I chose yellow sweet onions. I happen to like these. I think they add a really good flavor, especially once we do everything we need to do in the pan. So now we're going to get all this put together into a recipe. So of course the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get our meat thawed out, and then I'm going to chop up our veggies and get all those ready and sauteed and ready to go, and then we'll put all that together and then make it happen. Meat in the microwave. We'll do it for about a minute. Doing it a minute at a time will help us to get really good, even, slow defrost. Bring in a nice big pot. Knife. It's already getting pretty close. Flip it over, another 45 seconds. Rinse off our veggies. Get our pot heating up. We're going to do the pot on about a medium-high heat. You do want to get it kind of hot because we're going to be sauteing first, and so I like to use this is a frying oil that includes vegetable and peanut oil, which is still fairly healthy, and it works well at high temperatures and low temperatures, and taste is good and light. So you just need a little bit of that in there. Probably about a tablespoon and a half to 2 tablespoons of oil in the bottom, because this is going to make a fairly large recipe. So one of the things with bell peppers is that you can actually, if you just go right around the top, you can pop this out and it takes most of the seeds out. And the rest of them you can kind of shake out. A couple of little seeds here and there, not going to matter, but you got most of them out, which makes it easier when you chop everything up here. We'll do the same thing with this pepper. Get our onion ready. You can also do some garlic with the onion and the green peppers. I usually start with the onion first. And so we're gonna just take this and get it all ready to go. Oh, there go the tears. I don't know what this is in the middle. It doesn't want to come out. Now for your onions, you're going to want to chop these up into fairly small pieces. I mean, you can choose to however you like, and you can put more or less. I mean, it's really up to you. They don't have to be perfect. You just kind of want some chunks of onion in here. And then we're going to just saute them down. Oh, I love that smell. In this particular case, I may only need this one onion because this looks like quite a bit. Yeah, that raw onion definitely got to me. We're just gonna saute that. It's not gonna be too crazy. And just as they start to get kind of translucent, yeah, that's really what we're going for, is just starting to caramelize a little bit, just starting to sweat them down and caramelize them a little bit, and then we'll add in our green peppers. Because these we want to cook a little bit soft and tender, but I kind of like mine with still a bit of a crunch. You can choose to do yours at the same time so that they're more, soft, or you can put them in a little bit later in the process to make it a little more crunchy. It's kind of up to you. You can see that now they're starting to get just a little bit more translucent. I don't want them to really get totally caramelized and brown because that changes the flavor. So we just want to kind of sweat them down a little bit. While that's doing that, now that we're getting close, I take my green peppers, and similar to like with the onions, I just kind of want bite-sized pieces. Alright, so I'm just going to cut them into strips, and then I'm going to use this to kind of put these together. Just kind of chop them up into chunks here. I'm not real worried about them being, you know, super perfectly cut or anything like that. I just want them to have essentially like a bite-sized piece. Now I do actually generally like to do, just personally, I like to do a bit more green pepper than I do onion. So I'll usually do 2 green peppers per onion. But you can choose to do, again, this is to taste. I strongly encourage you, you know, do yours however, you know, if you like it with more green pepper, if you like it with less green pepper, if you like it with more onion, you know, do it however you want to do it. But I like mine with a bit more of the green pepper in there, just because I think it gives it really good flavor. Now I've seen other people make something similar to this and they've got different names for it, so if you have your own recipe for this or if you have some changes, I'd love to hear your comments down below about how you do it, and you know, what are your suggestions and what are some things that maybe you like to do to it that maybe I'm not doing to it. I think that's one of the coolest things about cooking, is that we can share recipes and improve what we're doing and help each other out. And now I also do not make mine super spicy. You can definitely add some, you know, some heat if you want to, and add like jalapenos or other peppers if you want to, but personally I just choose not to. I'm a purist for this particular recipe, and I like to kind of keep it as, I don't know, kind of as you know, baseline simple as possible, but to me that still makes it really, really tasty. Now at this point you can see the onions are just barely getting a little brown tinge to them, and I like the fact that the green peppers are just kind of sweating a little bit. Their juices are starting to come out. You know, I don't want them super soggy either. I do like them a little crispier, so I just kind of keep stirring them, keep them warming, but not quite, you know, I don't want them to just sit and wilt. Alright, so once you get to that point, what I like to do is take the hamburger, and you can use whatever kind of hamburger. I would recommend at least an 80-20, just to get good fat content in there. And this is when I'm going to start to season it a little bit. Nothing too crazy, a little black pepper, a little bit of salt, a little bit of garlic powder. And then I'm just going to cook this. So my green peppers should still be kind of sweating. My onions are still kind of caramelizing down, but they're now going to be working with the meat and the peppers. And the meat and the peppers and the onions are all going to kind of come together in a beautiful flavor here. Oh, it smells so good. In this case, the fat from the meat will help to also finish cooking up the vegetables a little bit before we put the beans in. Now in this case I'm making it in a one-pot version so that everything is being done in the same pot all at the same time. There are other times where, you know, I've done it where I take the the peppers and onions out after I saute them a little bit, and then I do the meat in here by itself and put the peppers and onions back in. So you can choose to do it both ways. Both ways work. The only one thing I think is probably a little better when you do it that way is that the meat gets a little more brown. Gets a little bit more of a caramelized crust on the outside of it, which of course we all love. That little caramelized crust on the outside of meat. Oh, so good. Now I've done this also, so you can do this with ground beef. You can do this with, if you want to add some pork in there, you can do that. If you want to do like ground venison, if you want to do bison or buffalo, any kind of ground meat you can basically use. I've done a couple different ones. Most of the time I just use ground beef, but I've done ground bison. I've also done ground venison, so you can choose to do whatever works best for you based on what you like and what you have. This is something that's really easy. You can pack this up and take it with you and eat it hot or cold. So camping or going out for hikes and stuff, this is super easy to make in advance, and you can make quite a bit of it and pack it up and take it with you. So as you can see, the meat is browning up very nicely. Alright guys, so I'm not really sure what happened, but my camera cut off. I was in the middle of, it stopped recording. I don't really know why. So what you last saw was, I put the meat in and it browned it. So the next step is I put in my cans of baked beans. I also put in, I like on mine to kind of fix up the sauce a little bit. I had a little bit of ketchup, some mustard, and some maple syrup, and that's what I use just to kind of pull it together. You can put whatever you like in it. You can do, maybe you want to put barbecue sauce, you don't want to put anything else, maybe you like it just as it is, you want to add some bacon to it, any kind of other ingredients you want to flavor it. I personally have always just done it this way. It's something that I've done since I was first making this recipe. So once you put the beans in and you let it sit for a little bit, this is what you get. And you just let it simmer together. It's really important to let the beans have a chance to mix together with the onions and the green peppers and the beef, and to just kind of simmer together, right? So that's what it looks like in the pot. Now let's take a look at it. This is obviously what's important, right? This is the final product in a bowl. Now I like to eat mine, either with some bread or some toast. You can eat yours, of course, either by itself. I've also eaten it with rice before. You can do that if you want to. So it's kind of up to you how you want to eat it. I think that there's lots of options, and I think there's lots of options, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with any one of those. I think this is really great. It's something where, like, if you have leftover baked beans, you can do something with it. If you have, leftover hamburgers and baked beans, this is a quick and easy thing. Chop up some green peppers and some onions. Saute those up, throw in the baked beans, maybe throw in an extra can of baked beans, and then throw in your hamburger that's already cooked, and then it'll all kind of come together. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's actually what they did on the ship, was to use like leftover hamburgers, and then they would just add some beans to it, and voila, they had a meal. We loved it. So on the ship, I remember we would all be looking forward to it when it came. So I think this is a super easy recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys try it out. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear in the comments if you try it, and hopefully it's something that becomes one of your favorites. Again, it's pretty quick and easy. You can make a lot of it and let it sit. Put it into the freezer, put it in the fridge. It works pretty well. If you go hiking, if you go camping, this is something quick and easy. You can pack up, you can take it with you, cook it on the fire. It doesn't take much time to heat it up, or eat it cold. It's fine cold. So thanks so much for your time as always, guys. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that you hit the notification bell so you know when more videos come out. Make sure you share the video. Throw a thumbs up. Let me know that you like what's going on. And thanks so much. I'll see you next time. Tight lines.